Good morning. It's 1:49 in the morning for me, which means that everybody else has started their day, and I'm just ending mine since I'm the very tail end of today. But anyway, the problem with writing adventures in space campaigns is that most campaign areas, like anything fantasy or modern, is usually based on an Earth-like environment, but truth is, it's just not the way it will be most of the time. You might either have a controlled environment on a space station or a totally jacked up planet if you're lucky to be able to be on it at all. So my first adventure finds the characters abducted by, for lack of a better term, pirates, although pirates is a loose term considering they're just living illegally when they can and legally when they have to. Different systems give different permits, and therefore you're able to live legally and then, where you can, cheat. And what they do to cheat in this case is they abduct, steal valuable property or people. In this case, the PCs are all valuable but not considered human, and therefore the penalty for stealing them, although high, would not be near as bad as abducting a person. And that's why they can not necessarily get away with it but not worry about it as much. So the campaign starts with the PCs finding themselves captured aboard a cargo vessel, part of a large cargo pod, when one sort of space navy or police force or whatever law enforcement agency or another goes after these pirates, and the pirates know that they will probably get caught, and so their best bet is to jettison the cargo that is illegal. Therefore, getting caught will avail them nothing because they'll be legitimate once they are caught. No evidence, no trial. Now, in this, we have to determine a couple of things. First of all, in the 20 systems that I'm in, where are they? And the answer to that is probably going to be an outer system. In this case, when I say outer system, I just mean one that's been colonized as recently as 500 years or less, and likely just a place where there's a lot of valuable minerals, but not a lot of law enforcement. Some of the reasons for this can be that the place has valuable minerals and planets that are heavy in them, but perhaps is passing through a nebula or gas cloud, or has lots of radiation from the sun, or maybe all of those reasons. Either way, it makes it lucrative to do business, but very dangerous to actually have a living there. Very important to note, because that explains why the illegal types are living in this place. They're willing to take the risk of, let's say, the radiation, or maybe the geological unstableness of some of the planets that can be lived on, or the erratic orbits of the asteroids, which is more plausible. Again, outlaws are willing to do these sort of things because they're willing to chase the money, or they have no choice. So that's a good start with that. So nonetheless, there are jump gates to these places from the other systems. And so when they jump in, their intention is to go find buyers for their cargo, both illegal and otherwise, in the system that they're in. I usually don't give names because I end up forgetting them. Of course, I guess it's why I'm using YouTube, so I don't forget the names. We'll call it system We'll call it system, let's see, call it system P20. That way we know about where it's at. And then each planet's a 0.1, 0.2. Asteroids would be at 0.4 or 5 with designation of which asteroid. But we're not worried about that. Right now, we're going to get to the point where they're passing one of the Jovian gas planets and a moon that they know is favorable, at least as far as temperatures, only because the amount of radiation coming from the gas moon keeps the planet relatively warm. Warm, for that I mean above -20, but certainly not any warmer than 40 degrees. We're going to call this planet, or this moon, similar to Titan in many aspects, in that it's a lot of hydrocarbon and silica and heavy metals. For instance, it would have a sea of silicon, like sand, but more like volcanic ash and glass almost. That would have a lot of, it has a lot of wind, so a lot of this is blown away into dunes, black or white or clear or gray, just different colors. And what's left, because the planet is so heavy in metals, let's say the planet's only 0.8 the times of Earth, but the same gravity, or maybe even a little higher because it's a very thick iron core, iron and of course molten metal like we, or molten lava like we do here, therefore generating some more heat, which is helpful. But there'll be intricate weaves of iron and nickel and gold, well, maybe not gold because it's softer, but different metals, heavier metals that will leave traces of what looks to be weaves of anywhere from very sharp to not very sharp, but pillars and columns and spider webs of interesting design, but still very dangerous. The radiation will probably be around 100 to 200 rads. Maybe those of you with better science would know that that may not be enough, but 100 to 200 rads an hour will give a little bit more problem to the PCs, but not so much that they'll die instantly. Again, high winds now and then. Because there are hills and mountains, those winds can be broken up, much like Earth. Maybe a little bit of tilt, but really it doesn't matter except for what you get from the gas giant is where you get most of your heat anyway, not necessarily the sun, because it is beyond the habitable ring. And it's in this environment that I basically have to say what the PCs get dropped with and what they're absolutely going to need to survive. Because all they have to do is survive, because remember, these pirates, and I think I came up with a name called the Fine Broads, probably a pirate band that's at least headed by a female, are going to want to come back and get this valuable cargo. As I discussed in the later chapters or later YouTube videos, there are things like a mega computer that can run a mining operation on its own. That's very valuable. And then of course anybody from turquoise is always very valuable. The cyborg, somebody owned that cyborg, so on and so forth. Very important to remember these things are valuable, so they want to come back. But in this cargo pod, it drops, and because of the thick atmosphere, probably carbon monoxide, it won't go near as fast. And I'll continue it on the next YouTube video.